Hello. Welcome to Shakeyburns with Kissa, with Muffy, Commander James, and Margot. So today, on this strange day between spring and winter, so I can't say if it's winter or is it spring, it's somewhere in between. One moment it's raining and next moment it's snowing. Yeah, I know how it feels. So on this strange day, we are going to teleport into summertime, into happy Greece. So we have today Theocritus. Look, that's like him. Who is famous for his idylls, pastoral poetry. And today we have a happy poem, The Delights of Summer. Yes. Happy cats. Okay, so let's get started. Let's read it. And from a loft overhead were waving to and fro poplars and elms, and nearby a sacred stream kept murmuring as it flowed from a cavern of the nymphs, and the bright cicalas on the shady branches kept laboriously chirping, while in the distance, amidst the thick thorn bushes, the thrush was warbling. Tufted larks and goldfinches were singing. The turtle dove was cooing. Tawny bees were humming round about the fountains. Everything was redolent of golden summer and redolent of fruit time. Pears indeed at our feet and by our sides. Apples were rolling for us in abundance, and the boughs hung plentifully, weighed down to the ground with damsons. How do you feel about it? Tell me, how do you feel about it? Is it a happy place? Would you like to go there? I think the answer is yes. Oh, dear cat. That's the thing about cats, they always think they're the bosses. And often they are. So they have a fair point. Okay. So here we have a happy poem, and maybe it feels like an introduction to a bigger story, like a landscape, a backstory, maybe. So we set the scene here. It's playful. It's playful. So what is he going to tell us? The main idea, the main feeling is in the end, in the very end of the poem. So he walks softly, coming near and near. He is teasing us. Yeah? So we come closer and closer, and it's only in the end that we can see what he wants to show us. So in that sense, it's like a film. We can see the camera moving here. We can see him playing with the angles and zooming in, zooming out. Yeah? Introduction. So we start, of course it's a translation from Greek, but I don't know Greek. I don't know if you know Greek. If you do, then you can tell me more about this poem. But we'll work with the English translation because because as I keep saying, if a poem impresses us, it means it's working. If it can impress us in English, in translation, it means the translation is not the translation, it's the original for us. So we'll be working with that today. And why do we need to look at it? Because it's the beginning of a very long tradition which is still happy and alive today. So it's good to know your roots, your origin, your sources. So Theocritus. And from a lot. So from the beginning we are in media res, as they say, in the middle of story. We start with and, as if we come into the poem and it's already started without us. It's already in progress. And how do we feel about it? Maybe we don't like it because we missed the beginning, or maybe we like it because we don't see the construction of reality. We see the rigid reality, which is already in motion, in action. Yes. From a loft overhead. So here we have again two words which mean more or less the same, loft and overhead. So why do we need these two words? We have the introduction and we start with looking above. The camera shows us the angle looking up. Okay? So why do we need two words which mean the same thing? A loft and overhead. Well, maybe they don't mean exactly the same things, otherwise why would we need two words? Good point, yes. So I think a loft is impersonal, like you have lofty mountains or they're somewhere up. But when you say overhead, it implies a head. So when you just say from a loft, from above, well, the narrator is there, maybe, but it might be kind of impersonal. We might be looking at a landscape with no people, but if you say overhead, you kind of specify, make it more clear that there is someone, there's a human being inside the poem. That's an interesting idea. Nothing. Very interesting. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe we have lots and lots of space. When you say a loft and then overhead, you have air. You look at the sky, you have big space. So we enter the poem, we feel like we enter into the middle of action. But already we have lots of space, lots of air. And it's important, we love it. We love space. Careful, careful. We love space. We're waving to and fro, poplars and elms. So not only we have space, a big room, now we again we have it bigger because now we know for certain that we are outside. It's not above us in somewhere. We have big trees here, and we have motion. We have it's moving. Oh, the waving to and fro. It's not static. It's alive. Yeah. So we enter a landscape that is alive in its own right. It doesn't need people to be alive. And Now we can kind of construct the image, what we see. So they are sitting, or even maybe even lying down, looking up. They sit under trees and they watch the trees moving to and fro. So what can we feel? What can we say about these people? They're lazy, they have nothing to do, they just look up at the trees. They don't think about any great things, they just watch trees moving. And I think they're happy people for exactly the same reason, you see. So they can relax, they're meditating in a way. And they know they're trees too. Again, all trees, birds are named here. So they belong to the place. We talked about it before when we discussed British poetry, how in British poetry it's very rare to see like a tree, flower, bird. Almost always they're all named because you know your trees, you know your birds, you know your plants. You are, by knowing their names, you know their essences, and so you're not a stranger in that landscape, in this land. You're not a stranger, but you belong to it, and in a way you're a master of it. So here too, they relax, but it's not some faceless, nameless trees. It's particular trees. From a loft overhead were waving to and fro poplars and elms. So again, it's plural, so we have lots of space. Sky is a huge space. The sky may be too big, too empty, but when you put some trees into the picture, it makes it more measurable. Yeah, it makes, it's still big, but pussy, 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 kiss her. But a person can relate to it. It doesn't feel too big, and it's not empty because you have trees. And nearby a sacred stream kept murmuring. Okay, so what do we need for a happy landscape? Oh, we need lots of air, yes. We need some trees for the shade, and again to organize the space, make us happy, make it alive. And if you have trees, of course you need water. So here we are creating, oh dear, what are you doing? Silly cat, it's a very silly cat. Just sit here, okay? What are you doing? No. If you want to sit here, sit just this way, because your face is nice. Your other side might not be so nice. Okay, so here we are creating a reality, and we think like, what do we need for a happy reality? What do we need for a happy place? What do we need to put in there? And we do it step by step. And that's how our eyes are moving. That's how the camera is moving. So we see a relaxed scene. The trees peacefully moving. Just go. Just go. The trees are peacefully moving. Water, a stream is murmuring, which again is very relaxing, and it gives us some freshness. Nearby a sacred stream kept murmuring. So it's not just a stream, it's a sacred stream. Why do we meow, meow, cat? Why do we need a sacred stream rather than just a stream? So we say that our space is sacred. Doesn't matter if it's our room, our flat, our house, our land. It doesn't matter. The space around us is sacred. We need to treat our space as a sacred space. It's very important because that makes you sacred too. It makes you happy. And not because you think, oh, I'm sacred, I'm a little goddess. Yeah. No, just because it vibrates in a happy way, because you treat it with respect. So a place is like a person. Okay? A place is like a person. A place is like a person. So if you come somewhere, it's like you come to a person. And it's true. It's very much true. And you treat it with respect, and the place treats you in a similar way. Believe it or not, but it is true. So nearby a sacred stream kept murmuring. So from stillness, aloft overhead, the sky, which is like eternal, waving a little bit. The trees are waving. So we come down from, let's say, heavens down to our earthly plane, and we have more and more movement, more and more life as we come down. You see? The trees are moving, but they move only a little bit. But when you come down to the ground, you have a stream which is motion, which is alive, which is talking, murmuring, moving. So again, the sky is silent, outer space is silent, then trees, maybe rustling in the wind a little bit, but only a little bit. And then you have a sacred stream which is talking to you, murmuring. So it's not a distinct talk, but if you pay attention, then you can hear it. A sacred stream kept murmuring as it flowed from a cavern of the nymphs. So again, we create our reality. Now we have a cavern or a cave. We have a little portal to another world, to the magic world, more obviously magic, or to the just other world. So our reality is not isolated as we created here. Yeah, we have the nymphs, but at the moment they're hidden in the cave, and it's a potential. We may go there, we may explore it, we may talk to the nymphs, but at the moment we prefer not to. But our reality has this possibility. So now we have living beings, but nymphs, spirits. And the stream is connecting their world, fairy world, and our world. And it carries their voices, but of course as they come out they become less distinctive. They turn into murmurs. While if you go to the cavern of the nymphs, then maybe you can hear them. Maybe. So again, it's a stream of knowledge that flows out through some sort of a portal, and as it changes reality, flows from there to here, becomes murmuring. but we have this connection, and that is important, and we can go into it. The bright cicalas on the shady branches kept laboriously chirping. Cicalas like cicadas. So what are we doing here? Again, we have a very relaxed scene, and we think, what else can we add to make it happier, to make it more relaxed, to make you want to stay here. Okay, now we have more sound, more life, more and more color. You see how we're slowly moving, and we see more and we hear more, and we make it more and more alive. Bright colors. So now we have color in it. On the shady branches kept laboriously chirping. So again, we have this contrast. We have bright on shadow. At the same time, same as with the stream, shady branches related to the world of shadows, maybe. Maybe we are reading too much into it, but it's fun, as long as we don't wander off too far away from here. So we have light, we have shadows. Our reality we create here is balanced. Now we have sounds. You can see the cicalas because you know they're bright. You can see the shady branches, and first of all you can hear them. Yeah? Not only see, but hear chirping. The cicalas are chirping. And in a way, these little guys are also talking to you from the world of the dead. Some people say so. Laboriously chirping. So we hear their song, but for them it's a labor, it's a job, maybe a happy job. And maybe again that creates this contrast because they are busy with their song, singing, talking. We have lots of sounds here, murmuring, chirping, and then warbling a bit later. And we, the narrator or the reader, we know that this reality has labor in it. It's not a lazy reality. But just now we're having our little rest. We let the rest of reality work. But it's our time to relax. The bright cicalas on the shady branches kept laboriously chirping. Yes, yes. So we look very close, and again we pay lots and lots of attention to the surroundings, and that's a part of the game he's playing, because he doesn't really want to tell us about cicalas and the stream and trees. He wants to tell us about his happiness, and his happiness comes not from outside, or not from the cicalas, but we will see it later. But right now we have this game of not looking. It's very important. A game of not looking. We have what is the most important, the heart of this reality, and we deliberately prefer not to look at it. We look at everything else first. We look around, we notice little details, and we very laboriously do not look at what is the heart of reality. Because it's so beautiful, you have to prepare for it. Or if you just start with that, then what do you do next? So we build it up to it. While in the distance, amidst the thick thorn bushes, the thrush was warbling. So again, we create different layers. We have near, we have far, we have close to the ground, we have up overhead, and we have layers of sounds. So we create this polyphony. We create the symphony of sounds, and we have different kinds of sounds of different intensity, coming from different directions, different distance. And so, as the result, our reality here is not flat. Yeah? It's alive. It's multidimensional. That's not different from, say, painting a picture. Have here, there, close, distant, and then that creates space on a flat piece of paper. It's even stranger with words, but the idea is the same, because as we read words, obviously we imagine what we read in our head. So we create a multidimensional reality out of words, out of flat images, in some way. While in the distance, amidst the thick thorn bushes, so again, shady branches with cicadas, so that's the first level. It should be very close to us for us to see the cicadas. At the same time, we have the distance, thick thorn bushes, and the thrush warbling there. Again, we kind of see it because we have the words, but maybe the cicadas and the thrush, we don't so much see them, but we know they're there by the sound. So they're invisible, but at the same time we can see them. Precisely because we know our land, and we know that this song belongs to this kind of bird or insect. So we don't have to see them to know they're there. Amidst the thick thorn bushes, a thrush was warbling. Tufted larks and goldfinches were singing, the turtle dove was cooing. So what is really amazing about this poem is usually we have images, we have visual images in poetry, because, well, that's the easiest way of creating it. But here we have images, we have some color, yeah, but the delights of summer is built here on sound. So they might be, the heroes, the narrator, might be lying down with eyes closed and still perceive the reality in all its abundance. Like a bat can send the sound wee, wee, echolocation, wee, and then the bat creates the surroundings by the echo. It doesn't have to look at it. So here the same. You can close your eyes, and just by creating those sounds, you create this reality. So you might do this little experiment. Just look at all the sounds, and if they're close to you, the narrator, or if they're distant, and then put them together in one file. Close your eyes, put on your headphones, and then you'll be transported to this place. You will feel the sunlight and the shadow on your face. You will feel the freshness of the stream. You will feel the space. You will feel the distance. You will feel how big and really, really multi-dimensional place this is, just by combining these sounds. So let's see, what kind of sounds do they have here? Very tiny sound of trees waving. So we don't even have a special sound word for it here, but if we can imagine it, we can kind of hear a slight rustling. Then nearby we can hear a stream. Then we hear cicadas, and they are noisy. They're very noisy, guys, and they're somewhere close to you. We sit under the trees, and they're on the trees, on the shady branches. Then we have in the distance 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds of birds. Yeah, not 1, not 2, 4 different kinds of birds. And again, if you're a city person and you're not interested in nature, that's just words for you. But if you know your birds, you know all these different sorts of songs, you can hear it, and then the poem stops being flat. Again, it rises, it opens up into a 3D scene, a 4D, 5D, as many Ds as you want it to be. It really becomes like a symphony of different sounds, different cats. Different sounds, different intonations, quiet, loud, noisy, insistent, light. All the different intonations. Then we have the bees humming. Yeah, that's another sound here, which again is different. And it's very much polyphonic. Lots of sounds coming together. And they are like a web of sound around you. Yeah? So as we read it, each sound he mentions is like a little line. Because sound isn't flat. Sound travels and it takes up space. Sound, in a way, sound is like gas. Yeah, it fills the space with itself. And so each sound he mentions is a different kind of a web cast above you, cast on you. But then you can close your eyes and you'll be there with him. Tiny bees were humming around above the fountains. Oh, crazy, amazing, 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 amazing. So, again, larks, always lots of larks. Goldfinches, again, they fly in flocks. The turtle dove, by contrast, is single, as well as the thrush. So he knows his birds, he knows their habits, but also it's like musical instruments. Each sound he mentions is like a musical instrument. And the bee is humming. So we come back because we looked at the distance where all the birds were, because the birds are loud and their sound comes to you from the distance. But to hear the bees humming, you have to be near them. And to see they were tawny, like yellow, brown, golden. Again, you see the bees, you see the little bees very clearly. So our camera moves in a circle, or it goes to the distance and then it comes back to us. And still, we look at some stupid bees, we don't look at what we are really interested in. That's the beauty, because, well, once you see it, whatever it might be, you say, ah, just that. If it's a horror and you see the monster, you say, ah, it's just a tiny monster. I've seen scarier. If it's a love poem and you see the girl, you're like, ah, just that. I don't like her. I thought she was beautiful, but she's just okay. But by not looking, you make it quantum. You make it infinite. So he looks all around, and all that is around them reflects it. All that is around reflects their feelings, reflects what they see, how they relate to each other. And we can see it's a happy place, full of singing, full of gold, water, trees, nature. It's not busy because we don't see any people, but it's full of life. Full of life. Tawny bees were humming around about the fountains. Now we have again more water. First we had a sacred stream. Now it turns out there are some fountains too. Very interesting. And a fountain is man-made. A stream is natural. So it's not a wild place. It's a place of civilization, but at the same time it's very natural. So civilization in our reality we create here, he creates here. Civilization can live happily together with nature. Civilization does not dominate nature, it follows it. It blends in. So the bees are happy with the fountain, the same as they're happy with the stream. Maybe. They're humming round about the fountains. And again we have those sounds which are not specific. You listen to it, you can almost hear their words. What is it they're telling you? The stream is murmuring, the cicadas are chirping, the bees are humming, and you feel like maybe if you could change your perception a little bit, if you could change that song a little bit, then maybe it would turn into words. Maybe you can't understand the murmuring, the humming, the chirping, just because it has a slightly different frequency. Maybe it's too fast, maybe it's too slow, maybe it's something else. Maybe. So each sound, on one hand, as we said, it's like a web. At the same time, it's information. It doesn't have to be like technical information. When you're singing, maybe your information is I'm happy, and that is information. So that's something that they want to share. The bees, the stream. And maybe you don't have to hear it as words, as messages. You still get the message, I guess. So the fountains, that's another little sound. So that's the big part of the poem, creating this reality, feeling it with all happy things, but also saying, yeah, but we have shadows and we have labor in it. But just at the moment, we will not get. Just at the moment, we will not be too keen on it. Don't do it. We'll just pay attention to the happy things around us. And how there's so much life around us. And we kind of mix in. We blend in here. Everything was redolent of golden summer and redolent of fruit time. So again, on one hand we talk about our reality. At the same time, we always remember that when we create a reality, a world, a universe, it's always also a model of ourselves. Yeah? So when we describe a place in poetry, in anywhere, when we describe a place, we describe one. It's always a little model of the universe. And whatever is a model of the universe is a model of self. So all that happens here happens inside you, or inside the narrator. Yeah? So we have birds, we have trees, but they're moving. He makes a point of saying that they're moving. We have a stream again, which is moving. So there's nothing fixed, nothing glued, nothing nailed down. Even the trees are moving. We don't see any rocks, we don't see, I don't know, something not moving. All we see is alive and singing. Everything was redolent of golden summer and redolent of fruit time. So he says, I'm in my prime. I'm not too young, I'm not too old. It's my golden summer. It's the time when my being is golden. And fruit time. I'm ready, he says. We live in abundance. That's a reality of happiness and abundance. Pears indeed at our feet and by our sides, apples are rolling for us in abundance, and the boughs hung plentifully, way down to the ground with damsons. It's only these last 4 lines, and only very briefly, where he comes to the point. Because take that away, what would you have? Take the last lines away. I mean, what does it matter? What does it matter? He says, and redolent of fruit time, and you finish here. Could be an independent poem. Could be. And why not? It would be a nice lyrical poem about summertime. But what changes? So the last lines flip the poem. What does he do? How does he do it? Tell me. Yeah, I'm waiting. Tell me. Or you can tell me later. What? What do you say? Ah, yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree. So here, suddenly, we have we. We have repeatedly. Now we come to the point. Now we say what is important. It's not I who is watching and enjoying it. It's we, I and you. At our feet, by our side, for us in abundance. It's 3 times in 2 lines. So, what he really wants to say is that you and I are happy. And the abundance is not in having lots of bees humming around. The abundance is not in having lots of apples around. The abundance is not being single. The abundance is the abundance of love and care we feel for each other. Our feet, our sides for us. So again, on one hand, he talks about his love, his lover. At the same time, it could be our, us, we, as in the narrator and the reader. So suddenly, we are invited into that place. Because you could read it and just like, okay, yeah, I watch it, I can see it, but I have no place in it. It's far away, it's not for me. Oh, he is there, he can see and enjoy, but I can only listen to him. But when he says, our feet, our sides, for us in abundance, maybe he says, no, you are there. You're not looking at it from outside. You're actually in there. And again, he doesn't look at his lover. Because love isn't concentrated in the person. Love is the whole reality. The reality is an extension of your love. The birds are happy because you are happy. Yeah? The finches are goldfinches because you have that gold inside you. Maybe. So on one hand, he doesn't need to look at his lover, because his lover, or rather his love, is the whole reality. At the same time, by not looking, like we said, it makes it more beautiful. When you're not looking, it makes it more beautiful. Or by not looking, again, it invites you personally. You personally. Because he doesn't say who it is. Is it a man and a girl? Is it a girl and a man? We don't know. Just we. Because here, in the space of love, there's no difference. There's no boundary between people and nature, you, me, bees, birds. We can feel this union, how Love is the heart of reality. Love is the core of reality. Your love. So in a way, you are the core of reality. You produce this reality. But that is possible because you have someone by your side, apparently. So P is indeed at our feet and by our sides. So we look at feet, we look at sides, we look down. We don't look at faces. Again, he kind of pretends not to be interested. He kind of pretends to be only looking at what is around, at the surroundings, the landscape. He says, yeah, I mentioned our feet and our sides, but that's just because I look at the fruit. No, you can't fool us, dear Theocritus. So he says, at our feet by our sides means they lie down. Probably been lying down for a while, because they won't be lying down on fruit. Why would they? That's a bit strange. But they lie down, and pears and apples are rolling. They're at our feet. Again, means I'm the master of this reality. That's another cat. Just don't touch. Come here. Yeah. Good. I'm the master of this reality. When I'm happy, that's a happy cat. Oh dear. Oh dear. When I'm happy, then the reality is happy to give me all I need. When I'm happy, my reality is happy because my reality is me. And when there's abundance in me, there's abundance in my reality. And reality is happy to oblige. So pears at our feet means I'm the master, we are masters. Being a master means being responsible for it. And our responsibility, you are the master of your universe, and your responsibility, I'm the master of my universe, my responsibility is to be happy, abundant. Yeah? To be big. Pears indeed at our feet and by our sides. Apples are rolling for us in abundance. So we have this conversation. Again, it's not like they're separate and the world is separate. And they just happen to be in a happy reality. No, the reality is happy because they are happy. And apples are rolling for them. They're not rolling just because there's some gravity at work. No, there's a purpose. The purpose of your reality is to make you happy. And your responsibility and big job is to know it and to accept it. Yeah, because somehow there's a big cult of suffering. There's a very big cult of suffering. Like, if you're not suffering, then you're not a real person. If you're not suffering, you can't be a strong individual. If you're not suffering, you're rubbish. Maybe there is some point in it. Maybe if you only lead a happy idle life, it makes you lazy and selfish. Maybe. But still, we can't focus just on suffering. Oh, I'm so unhappy. Oh, I'm so unhappy. That's because I'm so bad. Yeah, I totally deserve it. Oh, I will never be happy. Whatever happiness means to me, being for some people it's being rich, for some people it's being famous, for some people being I know having a good partner in life. Whatever, doesn't matter. Reality, the matrix is stupid. It can produce anything you need. It's infinite. It's connected to infinity. It's finite in itself, but it's directly connected to infinity. It's powered up by infinity, and it produces itself. I mean, come on. It's not a problem for it to produce whatever you like. But if you're not asking for it, then it's like, okay, you don't need it, or why bother? It's stupid. It's like a computer program. You tell it to give you some cakes, it gives you some cakes. You don't tell it to give you cakes. It's like, okay, well, I don't have a mind of my own, says the matrix. I only do what you ask me to do. So originally here we have this reality, the point of which is the reality is for you. Well, you have your responsibility. Pears indeed at our feet and by our sides, apples are rolling for us in abundance. And the boughs hung plentifully, way down to the ground with damsons. So again, we have abundance, abundance, abundance in the last lines. Lots of pears at our feet, by our sides. Again, you may say, oh, but I don't need that much. It will just go to waste. Oh, what am I going to do with it? Oh, apples are rolling for us in abundance. The boughs hang plentifully, way down to the ground with damsons. So that's another mindset. That's another mindset. So again, what do they teach you? And again, it makes a lot of sense in the context. They say, no, abundance is very bad. If you take too much, you're greedy. If you take too much, then think about other people. You take too much, think about the planet. And again, all of that has some grain of reason in it. Throwing away food is strange, but again, we need to see, we need to value ourselves. And sometimes we just need to let it be and need to let ourselves be happy, enjoy the abundance. Why would you feel guilty about abundance? Very strange, really very strange. Again, if our reality is powered up by infinity, then it's supposed to be abundant. So no, there are too many people. If everyone gets so much, then what do you have? Well, that's a bit different, you see. That's a little bit different. The reality has to offer you abundance, and you either accept it or you do not accept it. Don't you think that the matrix is complex enough, that infinity is clever enough to balance it out? Again, it does balance out because there's always your input, which turns into abundance. It balances out, don't worry. So that little poem is very important. Apart from being a happy poem, which you can just read and relax, or you can construct these audio space, and you can literally get there to that place just by listening to all these different sounds. But what it tells you is it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be happy. It's okay not to need anything. It's okay. As long as it comes from love, reality, infinity, will be happy to help you, will be happy to produce whatever you need. It's not that much compared to infinity. There's nothing you might possibly require that would not be enough, or that would be too much, yeah? There's nothing you might possibly require that would be too much for infinity. If you require it from your heart, because heart doesn't need much. Heart doesn't need that much. But if your heart needs an abundance of apples rolling to you, infinity will give it to you. When you start getting greedy, again, that's not asking infinity out of your heart. It's asking thingity out of your thingness. And your thingness is very much finite, and thingity, when you stop asking infinity, you start asking thingity. Thingity has limited resources, and its wages are really high, while infinity has infinite resources, and it does it out of love. There's some automatic exchange, because, well, that just happens. You can't ask infinity unless you put a bit of yourself into it in the first place. It's like to call someone, you need to have a phone in the first place. Yeah? Right. Right. So, be happy. Be happy. And why would people feel guilty about being happy? Who invented it? Who said that people should feel guilty about being happy? Crazy, crazy, crazy. But it's so deep. It's so deep in us, in most people. So either it goes really crazy and people get super selfish, they only care about their pleasure, they forget about other people, in which case, again, they stop connecting with infinity, they just get looped. There's a loop on themselves. It's for me. I want it for me. I don't care what happens to people around me, because I'm the boss, yeah, and you're nothing. So that's the wrong way. Another way is being guilty. Oh no, someone said I was pretty. Oh, what a shame. Oh no, someone gave me a present. Now I need to pay back. I need to do something. Oh, I can't possibly accept it. Oh no, someone offered me a job of my dream, but I'm not worthy. No. So again, why would you do that? But we need to find the balance. We need to find the golden measure where we are happy. And if we are happy to let go, then infinity will be happy to replenish it. You see, if you're happy to let go, then whatever you need will be happy to come to you. If you only take but you can't let go, I'm sorry, that's going to jump the system. But if you let it flow like that sacred stream, if you don't get fixed on keeping what you got. When someone asks you to give, you give. When someone gives you something, you take. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe. But anyway, it's very important to remember that it's okay to be happy. I don't know why. Maybe it's just people who want us to be unhappy, because if you're unhappy, then oh dear, God. If you're unhappy, then you're not infinite, and if you're not infinite, then they can do whatever they like to you, and you accept it because you think they're big and you're small. So anyway, don't worry, be happy, and see you later. Let me know what you think about this little poem.